So welcome everyone. Today we'll continue from one of the most important verses, second chapter, 47th verse. Um, this is the verse that many people know because in the serial of Mahabharata, this verse was um, sung a lot of times. So let's start with this. कर्मण्ये एवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफल हेतुर्भूर् मा ते संगोऽस्त कर्मणि. And it's a very interesting verse. We have never read this such thing, and it is some people find it confusing also. So today we'll spend some time on clarify. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty. Okay, we have to perform our duty, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But you are not entitled to the fruit of action. This sentence is very confusing. You are not entitled to the fruit of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of action. Wow. What is Bhagavad Gita teaching? You are not the cause of your action. And never be attached of not doing your duty. This is easy to understand. Last. Never be attached to not duty. Meaning in all cases, do your duty. Even if it's going to be a failure, you don't worry, but do your duty. But these two sentences are really complex. You're not entitled to the fruit, and you don't consider to be the cause of the result. So, how to understand this? What does it exactly mean? Okay, so we'll get into the details. We'll first finish this reading and we'll go into the PPT where I have some things to ask. There are three considerations here. So duties are three types, Prescribed duties, capricious work, inaction. Prescribed duties are activities enjoyed in terms of one's acquired modes of religion. Meaning whatever we are living in this world, we have some duty that we have acquired. So that is prescribed duty. Capricious work. Capricious means without the sanction of the authority. Meaning authorities have told that red signal means you need to stop. But people still go past the red signal. So that is called as capricious work, which is weak karma. And inaction. Inaction means not performing one's prescribed duty. Mean not performing duty at all, doing nothing, basically. Okay, of the three, the first one is recommended, prescribed duties. Okay. The Lord advised that Arjuna be not be inactive. Arjuna was saying, right, I will go and I will beg, I will go into the forest, meaning basically inactive. I don't want to do anything. Say Krishna said, no, that is not. But that he performed his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. You perform your duty. In all cases, you perform your duty. Whether it's going to be failure, success, happiness, distress, whatever it is, you perform your duty. And be detached to the result. The result is not in our hand. So give your 100% and let the Lord do the rest. Okay, one who is attached to the result of his work is also the cause of the action. If we are attached too much to the result, right, then it will take us on a ride of extreme happiness, extreme sadness. One person last time I told, he didn't get gold medal in his BSc physics, something like that. Even to the end of his life, that person was, when he was old, very old, he said, "Oh, I should have got it." Well, this getting golden is fine. Coming first is all fine, but we may not come. That we should accept. And if we don't come, that also we should accept. But what happens is we get carried away, and in that grief, we forget about spiritual life. At the time of death, we should be remembering God. But that guy was remembering gold medal of physics. So what will be his next life? We saw that, right? Next life is dependent on our present consciousness. So his consciousness, I wanted that gold of that physics. So next life he will again come back to this world. There is no cycle of there is no liberation for him, no self-realization. He's not going to spiritual world. So that is the problem. So to be detached to the result. Be detached to the result. As far as prescribed duties are concerned, they can be fitted into three subdivisions, namely routine work, emergency work, and desired work. So our prescribed duties are three types. Actually, this is the right definition here. Prescribed duty is of three types. Routine work. We get up, we go to office, or we go to school, whatever. Emergency work. We have to go to bank, some person in the family is sick. It is all emergency. Desired activities. We work, we cook. Actually, cooking is also routine work. So routine work performs as obligation in terms of spiritual injunctions without desire for result is an action of mode of goodness. Work with results become the cause of bondage. Therefore, such a work is not auspicious. Everyone has his propriety right in regards to prescribed duties, but should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duty doubt, doubtlessly leads one to the path of perfection. Meaning, last time I told you, the army persons, they give their life. But do they give their life for some medal or that salary? No. Salary, whether it comes or not comes, they are not caring. For them, the duty is the highest thing. And to perform that duty is the highest thing. They are not caring if say happiness hoga, distress hoga. They are not caring at all. They are focused on their duty. So Krishna is saying the same thing. You be disinterested in the result, and you know that your duty is obligatory. With that purpose you do, then the path of liberation is there. Liberation will open. Okay. So we are talking about spiritual science. Okay. Spiritual science always talks about liberation. Spiritual science says that or let's take this, that we should be focused on this reality. We have work reality, we have livelihood reality, etc. But this is the spiritual reality. What is it? That we are not the external body, but we are the spirit soul, and we are passing through many bodies within one body. And at the time of death, we get into another body. So we have to get out of this cycle. And that focus is what Bhagavad Gita is talking about. When it says you want to be on the path of liberation, and from that point of view, you perform your duties, then you will be free from the bondage. Every action bonds us. If we earn more, let's say if we earn more, how does it bond us? In simple terms, the government pays more, tells us to pay more tax, right? So it is bonding action. But if you don't earn at all, there's no question of tax only. So that is freedom. But that is not recommended. But what I'm trying to explain is how there is freedom and how there is bondage. Arjuna was therefore advised with the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. Don't worry about defeat and success and all that. Do your duty. A non-participation in the battle is another side of attachment. It is just another attachment. It is attached to be non-participating. It is attached to be not doing only. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. And that thing doesn't lead to liberation, to spiritual progress. It doesn't lead. Forget about material progress. Even spiritual progress is not happening. Any attachment, positive or negative, is the cause of bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for Arjuna. Okay. So, getting to our PPT. What do you see here? Who is doing the actual digging?
Machine is doing. Maybe but behind that controller is the person.
Yeah, the man is doing the digging. But the man comes out and says, I dig this 5 feet hole in the ground. how much he's right and how much is wrong. Let's analyze that. He says, I dug 5 feet, this 5 feet pit. How much is right, how much is wrong? Can you analyze that? What are your thoughts? Somebody says, he that say this construction project, and then guy says, yeah, I dug 5 feet. I dug 5 feet. I dug 15 feet. How much is right and how much is wrong? So let me put to you this question. Did he really do with his own hands?
No.
No. So when he says I dig, he should say with the help of the machine, I dug 15 feet.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That is the real understanding. Similarly, whatever work we are doing in this world, we are taking help of something. We are taking help of our intelligence. We are taking help of this body. At the time of death, this body remains here, we go away. So this body, we are taking help to do something, right? So these are all energies, and these energies, they belong to the Supreme Lord. So with the help of supreme energies, we are doing some work. So how can we be the cause of that reaction? We are not the only cause of it. It is not that I only did it. No. Therefore, Krishna says, understand that never consider you to be the cause of the results of your activities. You are not the only cause over there. You are part of that complete cause. And in the 18th chapter, he says something interesting. We'll go and say. He says there are 5 things which decide the results. Not just one thing, 5 things. Yeah. In 18.13, he's saying there are 5 causes of accomplishment of all action. So any action one may be performing, there are actually 5 causes for it. We think we are the only cause, but actually there are 5. What are those? The place of action, the body. Our body is doing this work, right? The performer, the soul, the various senses. We use our senses, right? These are all energies of the Lord. The place of action, these are senses, and the many different kind of endeavors. What all we do? What all the different types of endeavor or actions we do, right? And ultimately the super soul, the Paramatma. These are 5 factors. Out of these 5, the last one, the super soul, decides pass or fail. How much success, how much failure. Therefore, when Krishna is a super soul, he's saying, therefore, don't think everything is happening because of you. The super soul has a big role in it. Different kind of actions that people do, they have a role in it. Place of the action, the body. The body is just the body, and it is a combination of our previous karma, everything. And the performer, the soul. How much willpower that soul is having to perform that work, and how many different activities it is trying. Of all this is there, then ultimately the super soul, the Paramatma, that decides how much percentage of success, how much percentage of failure. So Arjuna was worried about this success and failure, right? So Krishna is saying the reality is not like that. The reality is that don't consider you to be the only cause behind this result. Now, suppose we are looking at this weather app and it says it's going to rain. By preparation, we will take the umbrella. But does it rain? It may not rain, right? So we have to do our activity. We have to do our duty. The result or the situation may change. We have to adapt to it. So things are not fully in our control. Even though we use supercomputers to figure out the weather, but still weather is unpredictable. They say 80%, they say 50%. Sometimes No, it said it's going to rain here, and it's not raining. The point to say is that we are not the only cause of our activities. There are other things to it. Like, we have become engineer, or we are working in a company. Do you think everything was because of our own endeavor? When we took birth, we ourselves went to kindergarten. We ourselves sat in the chair and we did our homework 100%. In the 10th standard, we we didn't take any tuitions. We did homework on our own thing, and we prepared our own. Is it like that?
No, it is not.
It's not like we take so much help, no? So therefore, the success, when people get success, they'll say, thank you, mama, thank you, papa, thank you, parents, thank you, that teacher, thank you, this, thank you, that. So Krishna is saying, when you're saying thank you, be thankful, right? Don't think you're the only cause. Oh, I just did, but people trained me, right? How many times we have heard this, right? Similarly, we should know that whatever activity we do, if others, external things are not helping us, we know that internal thing is helping us. Like, where is the picture? Yeah, see this body. The soul is this small, and this whole energy is there, right? The bones, the blood, the pump, the brain, memories. This is all energies. So the soul needs all this energy to perform his work, and it is sanctioned by the Supreme Lord. Now I showed you who done this. If did he dig out of his own fun, out of his own desire? No, there was someone who authorized him to dig. Without the permit, you cannot dig a road, right? If anybody wants to dig a road or something, they have to get the permit. Even if it's their own land, they have to get the permit from the government. Hey, I want to dig and I want to build a two-story home, right? So that's the part of the super soul. The super soul is the final decider what is going to happen, whether it's going to sanction it or not. So therefore, he says, Arjuna, you don't think you're the only doer. You do your work. Where are we? You do your work. You have the right to perform your activity. Don't be entitled to fruits. I fought this nicely. I should always. No, don't always think like that. And don't think you're the cause of the results of the activities. You're the only cause. No, you're not the only cause. There are other things also affecting the result. And never be attached to not doing the duty. In any case, whether even if you're going to fail, you still do the duty. Like Jatayu, he knew that he would be defeated by Ravana. When just 1 day back or 2 days back, there was this Kargil War Vijay Diwas celebration, right? So the Pakistani army were on the top of the hilltops, and the Indian army had to climb. And there are no trees in Kargil. If you look at those mountains, there is not even a single tree on that mountain. So either you have big rocks there, or you just don't have anything. With nothing in between, the Indian army soldiers had to climb. Now it is so easy for Pakistani army soldiers just to look down and just hit, right? So Indian army soldiers, they knew there will be a lot of casualties, because they knew that the Pakistanis have the advantage point in shooting. So they knew that there will be casualties. But were they attached of not doing the duty? They said, no, this is a very difficult battle. I won't fight. My 50 people will die. I won't fight. No. They went. Whether death or alive, they went. Right? So Krishna is saying same thing. So don't be attached to not be doing your duty. In any case, do your duty. Are you getting this?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So some few more points. So what is the gist? What is the gist? Do your best, leave the rest. You have a right to perform, concentrate, fully give your 100%. You are not entitled to be to the fruit of action, detached. They got Paramveer Chakra posthumously, right? Meaning after death. We are enjoying freedom. That person didn't enjoy freedom at all. He died with one bullet. Never consider yourself as the cause or the results of activities. Shift your attitude from doer to divine. Know that there is a divinity behind every result that happens. Never be attached to not doing your duty. Remember that performance of duty itself is the reward. That if we just perform our duty, that itself is the reward. And then after that, if we get a result, which most of the time we get success, but sometimes it is not working like that. Sometimes things are not in our control. Like Abdul Kalam, he said his first project was there, right? He was handling some 5,000 people under him, and that PSLV rocket, something like that, didn't work only. So there was a loss of like crores. He took that responsibility, but he again tried. So we may also, our effort may work or may not work. We have not to be so much worried about it. We have to perform our duty. Okay. So in short, I will explain this whole thing. What is concentration? Meaning attention, awareness, absorption. We have this famous story, that Arjuna was told to hit the eye of the parrot. And then Dronacharya asked everyone try. And he kept asking everyone, what do you see? What do you see? Yudhishthira said, I see the bird, I see the tree, I see the sky. And like that, everyone was saying like this. But when he asked, Arjuna, what do you see? Arjuna said, I see only the eye of the parrot. Then he said, you shoot. And when he shot with that concentration, only the eye got hit. So our attention, awareness, absorption should be pakka. We should put our whole heart. And then do your best. See, half of our worries about a thing are because we have not done our best. Right? Let's say we try very hard and we may not get a certain result, especially in interviews. It happens like that. It happened with me also. I gave interviews, like 4 levels of interviews, and then I thought, okay, here it is, I will get it. The manager who was hiring, he also told that we have got positive feedback. And the last, but he said, I want you to be interviewed for one more person. And it so happened that that person asked something out of textbook, something like that. So I couldn't answer properly. But when I came out, I knew that I won't be selected. But at the same time, I was happy also. Why? Because I did my best. I did my best. Whatever was asked from me and what was my experience, I showed them all the details and work and everything. And they were happy to a certain extent also. Now, at the end, if everything didn't work out, that's a completely different matter. But for our happiness, we know we did our best, so be happy. And then we have to purify our mind. You're not entitled to the fruit. Everything, I own everything. I am the boss of everything. Everything is for my enjoyment. That mentality we have to give up. We don't own everything. This land was already existing before we came. Right? We now call it India and all that, this is boundary, that is boundary. 500 years later, if we come, then we'll see the boundaries have changed. Right now, a war is happening and a boundary is getting changed. Agreed? So we need to understand that we have come here, we will have certain proprietorship only for a temporary period of time. I gave you example last time. Company sends someone to another city, and there where he goes, they put him in a 5-star hotel. They give him a car. Let's say that car is Mercedes Benz. Now this guy, he thinks, this is mine. This is for my enjoyment. I can do anything with it. then what is the problem? Or on the third day, when he has to leave that Mercedes Benz, he will start crying. He says, no, no, this Mercedes Benz is mine, the company gave it to me. Nothing like that, right? The company gave you for a certain period of time. Then after that, you have to give it back. So with that mentality, we have to work. Okay. So what are the formulas now? How formulas, to really act in the spirit of this verse? First is surrender to God. Do your best. Give up worrying about results. People, what they do is they only do the second part. They give up the results, worry about the results. But they don't do the first part. They don't do their best. So that's why the worry becomes more. But when you do your best, then you don't worry. You are accepting whatever comes. But when you don't do at all, then giving up the worry for the result is what do you say? It's laziness. So don't be lazy. Okay? Feeling of being blessed always. So always know that God is with me and I will try my best. Whatever comes, I'll accept. Success, failure, partial success, partial failure. I'll accept everything. Art of smart work. You do these two things together. Surrender to God and feeling of being blessed. If you do these two things, then we'll be happy. Just like Jatayu. He failed. And when he failed, Lord Ram came over there. And he said, I failed. I failed to save Sita. In a company, if you say like this, I failed to do this work, and your boss comes, what is he going to do? He will say, resign and go away. Right?
Yes.
But in case of Lord Ram, he didn't say, Jatayu, what a failure you are. Huh? You couldn't save my wife. What a failure. He didn't say like that. He thanked him. He thanked him. You tried at least. And you're dying there. And he blessed him. And then, because Lord Ram himself was there and he died in front of Lord Ram, he could break the cycle of birth and then go back home, back to God. He was on the path of liberation. So I hope you understand this verse. You understand this right now? Karmane evadikaraste ma paleshu kadachana ma karmaphala heturgu mate sankostvi karmane. Little complex to understand, but those who practice, they'll immediately understand. They'll understand over a period of time. That's fine. Let's go to next verse. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tokta dhananjaya siddhi asiddhyor samabhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. So now Krishna is expanding this 47 verse and he's telling detail. Okay. First thing he says, be detached from success or be equipoised. And instead of just working, do it in the form of yoga. Yoga uchayate. Yoga, if we talk about yoga today, people think that is all, physical exercises and breathing exercises. No, those are yoga asanas. Those are pranayamas. That is part of one of the yoga in 4 types of yoga. So when we talk about yoga, it means we are connecting back to the Supreme or connecting back to the Paramatma. Okay. So in that, by our work, we be equipoised. Meaning we don't care for or we don't get disturbed by success or failure. That is first thing. Okay, we'll go further. Let's get into the Krishna tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. What is that yoga? Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever disturbing senses. So control the senses and focus on the Supreme. Whatever actions we do it for the pleasure of the Supreme. And who is the Supreme? The Supreme is the Lord. And because he himself is telling Arjuna to fight, Arjuna has nothing to do with the results of it. Gain or victory are Krishna's concern. Interesting. Gain and victory are Krishna's concern. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Krishna. Krishna is supreme, so whatever he says, I will do. That faith, when one has, then that is yoga. The following of the Krishna's dictation is real yoga, and that is practiced in the process called Krishna consciousness. By Krishna consciousness, only one can give up the sense of proprietorship. So, unless we are conscious of Krishna, that Krishna's action I have to do, then that proprietorship, that this is mine, everything is for mine, even that will go. It will only go away because if we are serving Krishna. One has to become the servant of Krishna or servant of the servant of Krishna. That is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna consciousness, which alone can help one into acting yoga. So when we talk about this word servant and master, right, it is very confusing. Why? Why it confuses people? Why people get very angry on religion when they say what servant, what master? Why do you think that people get angry on religion with this? Why I don't have to become servant of God? What is the problem?
I think, Prabhu, like
Hmm.
their definition of being a servant is misguided here. Like in some sense, like it is like that servant, the master will exploit the servants. That is
Right.
their definition. So that's why they get angry.
So what happens is people think on the same platform, meaning on the material platform, they think the spiritual reality. So any teaching that comes, they think only on the material platform. Why? Because their only experience is the material platform. In that, they see that master and servant relationship is the most dangerous relationship. There is exploitation, there is abuse. There's so many stories like that, right? Master killing servant and then servant killing master. Both exist, right? Very rarely the master and servant relationship is happy relationship. So in 1997, Atal Bihari Vajpayee had come to Pune and he was giving a lecture in Hindi, political speech in one of the university, and he said a very nice thing which has remained in my mind. He said, if you want a servant like Hanuman, Hanuman is a great servant, like anything he can do. And if you want that servant like Hanuman, then you should be a master like Ram. You're getting now? So,
Yes, sir. Yes.
yeah. So the quality of that master, Lord Krishna and Lord Ram, is such that the servant can become Hanuman. And therefore, when religion says you have to become servant of Krishna, servant of God, then it is not like what we see on the road, the servant and the master fight, the master angry on servant. No, it is like the relationship of Lord Ram and Hanuman. Such a loving relationship. It is like the relationship of Ram and Jatayu, where the servant failed, completely failed. But Krishna promoted him. So you failed, promoted. How can that happen? In spirituality, it can happen. Why? Because we are serving the Lord. In material world, it never happens like that. We fail, the company tells go, reject, resign, laid off. But when somebody fails in his devotional service, even to Lord Krishna, promoted. He's promoted. So that is spiritual science. And people, they think that spiritual science is the same as material science. That is where they get confused. And therefore they get angry with this master, servant, and all this. But interestingly, this master and servant is also there. And at the same time, Krishna is saying father and child relationship. Now, father-child relationship is also a wonderful relationship, right? It's better than master-servant. Indeed, he says this is mother and son relationship. That is also very great. Mother and child, right? The love of mother is so nice. If you remember your mother, you will see father only had one complaint. Why don't you shout at your son? Agree?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And Krishna goes one step ahead and he says, this is a relationship like a grandfather and child and grandchild. And that is even more sweet. Agreed? So all three says in one of the verses that we'll see, let's see that verse. And I think it is the 9th chapter. Mata Dhata Pitama. Let's see. Either 9th or either 10th. Krishna is saying three things. Aha. I am the father of the universe, I am mother, I am support, and I am grandsire. Krishna is saying I am all put. Do we find a master saying like this to us? I am your father, I am your mother, I am your grandfather. Meaning he is saying I am act like that. No. You will say you are selling lie. But Krishna is not like that. And in the 5th chapter, he says another interesting thing. We'll read that. Bhoktaram yakkatapasam sarva loka maheshwaram surhut sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shanti vrichati. Bhoktaram yakkatapasam. Krishna says they should know me to the ultimate benefactor of all sacrifices and austerities. The supreme lord of all planets and demigods. Sarva loka maheshwaram. All planets, I am the supreme. Meaning he's saying, I am really the big master here. And at the same time, he makes a very nice statement. He says, I am benefactor and well-wisher of living entities. Meaning I am friend of everyone. How can a master be a friend? It is, in our experience, it is very rare combination. Agree? But Krishna is the combination who is available here, where he is the master and his friend, both at the same time. Surhit sarva, surhidam sarva bhutana. Benefactor, friend. Surhidam, rhythm means heart. And su means it is beneficial to that. So friend is very beneficial, right? So Krishna is saying, I am the friend. And then he's saying, I am Maheshwaram. Every yajna that you do, I am the bhokta. Bhokta means I am the eater. I am the beneficiary. And at the same time saying, I am friend. It is only possible in Krishna. In our experience, right? In our experience, I will tell you. Suppose there is some, property getting divided. And, there are 2 brothers or 3 brothers, whatever. The elder one says, and the father didn't write a will. Okay. The elder one comes and tells everybody, listen. Now everything belongs to me. I'm the eldest. Everything belongs to me. Okay. And at the same time, I'm your elder brother. So I'm very loving to you all of you. So I'll keep you all happy. What is our experience? If such a thing happens in a family, rarely, the family is happy. Most of the time, the elder person is saying some lie just to take out the whole property, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But in Krishna's case, it is not like that. He's saying, I am father, mother, grandfather. I'll act like that, I will do like that. And he shows that from the example of Jatayu and so many of them, Hanuman and so many of them. Therefore, surrendering to Krishna is yoga. Okay. So yeah. So discharge the duty in Krishna consciousness. This alone will help one to act in yoga. Arjuna is Kshatriya, and as such, he is participating in the Varnashram Dharma institution. It is said in Vishnu Puran that in the Varnashram Dharma, the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. No one should satisfy himself, as is the rule of the material world. One should satisfy Krishna. Now, interestingly, No one should satisfy himself, meaning we should never be satisfied. No, it's not like that. Last time I told you this example of root of the tree. So if the leaf and the branch of the tree and the fruit of the tree and the flower of the tree, if they want to be happy, what do you think should be done? Should you water the every branch and every leaf? No, you water the root. So therefore, Krishna is the root of this whole creation. And if he is satisfied, we are satisfied. That is the meaning of we should not externally try to satisfy us. If we satisfy Krishna, Krishna will make sure that we are satisfied. This is what it means. So unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot correctly observe the principle of Varnashram Dharma. Indirectly, Arjuna was advised to act as Krishna told him. So the point is here, the word used is Varnashram Dharma. We see what is that. I showed you this picture, Varna and Ashram. Okay, two things are there. Varna and Ashram. Varna means there is an inclination for some duty, for some occupation. That is called Varna. And they are broadly divided in 4 types. First is the Brahmana Varga, where one is interested in knowledge, gathering knowledge, and leading a very simple life. Not too much money, simple life. Gathering knowledge, teaching knowledge. And Dana, Yagya, Pata, Patana. This is Brahmana. Then second is they are not interested in knowledge. They are interested in controlling everyone, in fighting, in administration. So that is Kshatriya, Kshatriya Varna. Then third is Vaishya Varna. Vaishya Varna, they are not interested in knowledge. They are not interested in controlling. They think money is everything. If you have money, everything will come. So they are more interested in business, very much business minded, agriculture minded. Agriculture is actually a business, okay? So they are Vaishyas. And then Shudras, hey, they don't want knowledge, they don't want to administer, they are not after business. They are saying, paisa mila, thoda sa paisa mila, I'll be very happy. Little give me some work and I'll be very happy. So Shudra is called Shudra. And Ashram. So point to here is the Vedas divided people in this 4 categories depending on their inclination and the qualities that they are having. If somebody is having administration quality, you make them work like hell, they will fight back, right? If somebody has a business mind, and then we see that, right? Those who have business mind, and if you make them sit in a computer and do job, after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, they start thinking of some startup thought comes in their mind. And after 5 years, they are into startup and they are forgetting technology and they're only talking about finance. Why? Because they have that inclination. Technically, engineer's job is actually Shudra job. So this is the thing. Okay. And if somebody wants to study, but they're sent to fight, what will happen? That guy will run away, right? So they need that person who will fight. And he won't care for his life. He will fight for the right cause. That is the Kshatriya. So inclination everyone has. We see our brothers may have different inclination, our sisters may have different inclination. Right? And therefore they should be guided in their inclination. This is we have this buzzword, right? What do you like to do, you do. So how to understand what we like to do? We have to see what category we fit in. And when we fit in this category, we know, oh, okay, I'm in this category, so okay, this is I like it. And sometimes we may have combination of the 2 categories. That is also there. We may have combination of the 2 categories. So then we have to align ourselves. So this is Varnashram system was set up so that we can peacefully do our work within the rules mentioned in the Vedas. So the Vedas mention, what a Brahmana should do. He should be always poor. A Kshatriya, he should be courageous and he should always donate. A Vaishya, he should always donate and do cow protection and agriculture. And a Shudra, he should be loyal. So when they understand, okay, this is the rule that I have to live with it, then they can be peaceful in their work. Agree? And then ashram. Ashram means what is, so this is for spiritual peace, material peace. See, our body is a psychophysical thing, right? So it will always drive us into certain areas. Some people, they just don't like medical. Why? Because the body, the psychophysical nature is like that. That they will be attracted towards engineering or maybe law or maybe something else, sports, but not to medical. Because that psychophysical nature is there. And some people, they will only attract to medical. If you tell them to sports, they'll say, I'm not interested. I like to read fat books. And I have 7 of them at home. Right? So we have to place them peacefully because their psychophysical nature is going to push them. So they have to be peaceful in their work, right? So that is why the system was created, that you be peaceful in that. And then this is how materially peaceful one can be. If they are doing the job that they like, then one is materially peaceful. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, when they can be spiritually peaceful, that is also one question, right? We just don't have to be materially peaceful. If we are only materially peaceful, then we are as equal to animal. Ahara nidra bhaya maitu nevacha. Ahara nidra bhaya maitu nevacha. All this is satisfied in our material peace. But dharmo hi tesam adhiko visheshu dharme nahi na sapushu. Meaning our spiritual progression, we have to be peaceful and satisfied in that areas also. So for that, ashrams were given. Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. Brahmacharya means it is 1 to 25 age and it is student phase of life. You are learning both material knowledge and spiritual knowledge, both. Then after that, there is an inclination to be associated with opposite sex. So be in married life, not any, how today happening, live in relationship. That is not recommended. Married life, be responsible. Today, live in relationship, the girl gets pregnant and then she lives all by herself. Single parent. Where is the responsibility? Single parent children, they will struggle. And the person also struggle. So, Vedic times, it was grahastha, it was married life. And then Vanaprastha, at the age of 51 to 75, in that particular age, children have grown up. Now you can take to spiritual life 100%. In Grahastha, it could be 50% because there are other duties to perform. In Vanaprastha, it is greater than 50%, 80%. And when one is matured, then sannyas. Give up the association of opposite sex and then completely dedicate. So here is how the spiritual progression is taking place and the spiritual peacefulness is achieved. So this is what is the real meaning of Varnashram Dharma. And how this happens is not according to birth, but according to our qualities. By birth, a doctor's son is never a doctor, right? A doctor comes and says, I am out, but my son is going to take care. How old is your son? 10-year-old. But he's a doctor's son, na? He can take care. He can do the diagnosis. He said, no. Why? You have to be qualified for that. Does he have that qualification? Does he have MBBS degree? No, then I don't care. Similarly, a Brahmana son is never a Brahmana. They have to be qualified. They have to be trained. And it is found that they will train their children in whatever varnas they are. But some children may not be of the same varna, so they will change varnas. So that's how the Vedic system worked. But there was a problematic situation where people used to say, no, by birth only I am Brahmana. No, not by birth, by qualification, you become a Brahmana. Okay. Time we have 5 minutes. Okay. Let's finish this one. Dure nahi avaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddho sharanam anivichya kripanaha phala hetava. So last point is this Varna Ashram system we are doing. The Vedic system was set up to satisfy Krishna. Ultimately, Krishna is achieved. In Vanaprastha, Sannyas stage, and in Grahastha, Krishna is worshipped. We have to be peaceful in material life And then spiritual life, we progress gradually and we achieve Krishna. That is the whole purpose here. So, Krishna is saying to Arjuna later, he says, keeping all abominable activities far distant by devotion service. Now, this is a very interesting question. Abominable activities. Keep the bad activities away. Technically, this is what it means. And in that consciousness, surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. One who's actually come to understanding one constitutional position as an eternal servitor of the Lord gives up all engagements, save working in Krishna consciousness. As already explained, Buddhi Yoga means transcendental loving service to the Lord. Or the Buddhi Yoga means intelligent yoga, is what it means is I am serving the Lord lovingly. Such devotional service is the right course of action for living entity. Only misers desire to enjoy the fruit of their own work. Like, if a son, he works outside, but he doesn't give money in at home. It's problematic, right? Similarly, we should not be misers and think that only I earn, so that I don't enjoy it. I won't care for my father, mother, my family members. Then it's a problem. We'll get entangled in material bondage. Similarly, we should offer our work to Krishna, the result of the work to Krishna. Except for work in Krishna consciousness, all activities are abominable because they continually bind the worker to cycle of birth and death. One should therefore never desire to be the cause of the work. Everything should be done in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of Krishna. Misers do not know how to utilize the assets of riches which they acquire by good fortunes or by hard work, hard labor. One should spend all energies working in Krishna consciousness, and that will make one's life successful. Like misers, unfortunate people do not employ their human energy in the service of the Lord. So technically, our energy should be engaged in the service of the Lord. And we hear this. We saw this. Let's see. There were these points. In my notes, I had put right Nishkama Karma.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So
yes, Prabhu.
it is for Loka Sangraha also, doing for the benefit of the people. And then ultimately it matures into for the service of the Lord. When one does service of the Lord, the benefit of the people, everything is involved. So this is how Nishkam Karma is gradually advancing this. Okay. So any questions or comments? We can stop here to 49. Any questions or comments?
Oh, just want to know that you're saying Krishna consciousness. You
Hmm.
multiple times this has came. So
Yeah.
can you just give us a small, understanding of what this exactly means?
Yeah. Okay. In the 9th chapter, we say, okay, Krishna consciousness simply means you think always of me, become my devotee. And not in 9th. One of the chapters, Krishna very interestingly say, let's see. Okay. Just put Bhagavad Gita in one. Krishna very interestingly he says in one chapter, I think it is 11. Okay, let me just 1 minute. There is this exact word he says, thinking of me. Right. Yeah, this was 634. No, there is this verse which clearly defines what is Krishna consciousness mean. So always think of me. Let's see, 8.5. I think in the eighth chapter we should just search. Ah, 8.7. तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु माम अनुस्मर युद्ध च मयि अर्पितो मनो बुद्धिर् मयि एव शिरसि असंशय. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me. Think of Krishna in the form. Think of me in the form of Krishna. Okay. Think of Krishna basically, and at the same time carry your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and a mind intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. This is what is meaning of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means our consciousness is filled with Krishna. We are working in our company. We are thinking of our children, wife, husband. I am working for them. Therefore, our whole consciousness over there is I am working to provide to my family. Therefore, there it is the consciousness is family consciousness. While Krishna is saying you be Krishna conscious. You think you have to do this for me. You think about me and then you fight. Mam anusmara yuddhacha. Thinking of me, you fight. At what generally we do? We do family anusmara yuddhacha. We work with considering family in perspective. So it is family consciousness. Krishna is saying Krishna consciousness. He is saying, think of me and then do. So how this is possible is another question, but this is what it means by Krishna consciousness. Whatever activity we do, we are always thinking about Krishna. How this is possible, that is a separate thing, but this is what it means. Does that help?
Yes, Prabhu, that helps.
So 8.7. How to engage our mind and intelligence in Krishna is a science in itself. It's a gradual science. It won't come. See, in one line it is said, by chanting Krishna's name, you will be transformed. So the key is to chant Krishna's name. And there is a science behind it. So I have not yet fully described it, but when we get into it, then we'll see.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any last questions or comment?
Yes, sir, I have a doubt. Yes. So when we were in that part where we have to just do our duty and not think about the results. Like because if we give our best, then there is no reason to be afraid. But do you think that happens because in any work, like for example, I'm a student, so any exam I prepare, like even till the last moment, there is this feeling that I am underprepared. Even when I was genuinely prepared in some of the exams, there's always a feeling that I am not at all prepared. Then that till the result,
okay.
There's a
I understand. So see, when we say do our best, we do our best. Okay, but if our best is in say 20 chapters, if we do two chapters only, and then we say this is our best, there is a conflict there itself. Okay, what it means is there were 20 chapters, and I did my best in finishing those 20 chapters. Okay, I was not lazy in completing the study of my syllabus. And now with that, I will give up the worry about result. Then you will say you will be free. But what happens is, that's what I said. People think only about second thing. Give up the worry about results. But do your best, they are not thinking about that. And sometimes do your best is, they'll think they'll underperform there. See, you don't have to overperform, you don't have to underperform. But you have to be sincerely performing. And then, that worry part will go. See, India in cricket matches, if you see, they reach the finals in World Cups. They reach the finals. In the final, they play very close match. and for one ball or one run, they lose. Right? So the
Yes,
result,
yes.
the result is not in their hand. It is clearly, right? Last World Cup, I think something great happened between England and New Zealand, right? I don't remember,
Yes,
but
yes.
something happened. So it was weird, and England won. But New Zealand didn't had to worry so much. Why? Because they gave their 100%. So giving our 100% is very important. Okay, don't give 10% and then say I don't want to worry. No, then you have to definitely worry. Okay, give 100%. Yeah, give 100%.
But sir, in New Zealand case, even when they gave 100%, they lost, and that was
Yeah,
not in their hand. Like whatever
yeah,
situation happened,
yeah.
it was
See,
not in their hand.
right. Yeah, it was not in their hand.
So,
Why? Because Krishna says in 18th chapter, he says there are 5 reasons for any accomplishment of action, and one of them is the super soul, and there are others also. So all this is affecting, and we have no control over these things. We have only control over few things. So don't be carried away with loss and failure. Do your duty, and it happens sometimes
and
when
certain,
we. Hmm. See, we are too much attached to winning, and we think that winning will only make us happy. Krishna is saying no. What will make us happy is when we ourselves are satisfied in our performance. The
but sir,
result.
don't you think now?
Hmm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, tell them. Yeah.
So, but don't you think now, results are more recognized than the efforts we give in?
And that is our um, some kind of lack of knowledge. Results are definitely acknowledged. Results are definitely recognized. But the result is not in our hand. That we should always understand. See, the reality is the result is not in our hand. What is in our hand? Our own actions are in our hand. Our own effort is in our hand. That you give 100%. What happens is if we go with the result, right, we will go in the upheaval, ups and downs of the life, and we'll be disturbed by everything. By high success also we'll be disturbed, and by low success also we'll be disturbed. By failure we'll be disturbed more. So Krishna is saying be equipoised. Okay. So this is a good question you asked. So this is the point Krishna is saying in the previous verse, no? That we have to be equipoised and
Yes, so now I
perform,
understand.
yeah, and perform your work as yoga. Don't perform it with so much attachment. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So let's
Yes.
stop for today. Let's meet next week and continue from 50. 50 or 50.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.